Long live the morning routine. Long live friendly competition. Long live cozy nights at home. And long live healthcare that works with your life. Access to great doctors, simple mobile app, convenient locations across Long Island? Absolutely. You have options, but at Catholic Health, we'd like to remind you to choose you first, because we did too. Long live you, and long live Long Island.
And we are in Hicksville, New York, here on the Varsity Media Sports Network as we gear up for a matchup between Fordham Prep and Holy Trinity, with Fordham Prep coming in at 1-5, Holy Trinity at 4-2. This should be quite the matchup. Alongside Kevin Dolan, I'm Lance Meadow here on the Varsity Media Sports Network, and so glad you could join us. A rare Sunday high school showdown here on Long Island, Kevin.
Lance, it is warm and breezy out here, and we are just so excited about this great matchup between two teams that have everything to play for today.
And we want to thank our title sponsor, Catholic Health, for making this broadcast possible. And in terms of this matchup, this is a Fordham Prep team that is young and trying to get its identity going here 6 games into the season, whereas Holy Trinity has not lacked the ability, Kevin, to put points on the board. They scored 41 in a victory over St. Dominic in early October and followed that up with 32 points against Holy Cross.
I was saying to Coach Tassone, you know, so much about high school football is about emotion. Their kids are on a bit of a winning streak right now. That's more than 50% of the job. They feel they can win. On the other side, I've been banging heads with Fordham Prep for many, many years. Smart kids that are athletic, they're really going to come after it today.
So let's look at the impact players. First, we'll highlight those on Fordham Prep side. And you look at Mendham Dakaj. He is their top wide receiver. And then Nick Monaco is the hammer in the middle of that defense. Team high 37 tackles. And he is going to be looking to stop the run game that is going to be presented by Holy Trinity. Let's flip the script and check out who to watch for the Titans. And it's about 2 players in particular for them. It's Tyler Jarek and Joe Henn. Jarek is one of their power running backs who's averaging 5.5 yards per carry. And then Joe Henn, 8 receptions, 170 yards, and 2 touchdowns on offense. And then you see what he does on defense. Second on the team with 25 tackles. So a two-way player that certainly can make an impact for Holy Trinity.
Real battle of the sophomores today. And, you know, that's some of the beauty of what's going on with these programs right now, is that this is a building situation for both of these programs. And I think we're going to see these sophomores really show us a little glimpse of what we're going to see in 2 years.
So it's now time for the keys to today's game. We had an opportunity to sit down with both coaches earlier this week in terms of strategy. And Kevin, the floor is yours in terms of running through what the feedback was from both of these headmen.
Well, Fordham Prep's got to stop this power running game. You know, Holy Trinity has just been very, very explosive, and that's going to start with stopping Demarion Singh. That also goes for Ian Williams. He's a quarterback who can not only sling it around, but boy, can he run. And they need to control the ball and the clock. Holy Trinity's identifying themselves about explosion. It's not going to be bad. That'll help Fordham Prep if they can hold the ball. For Trinity, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, power football. On the other side, they got to stop Luke McKay and that power running game that they have. And the last thing is control your emotions. Stay disciplined. Don't jump off sides. Play the game.
As this should be an entertaining affair between Fordham Prep as well as Holy Trinity. It's a bit windy, but the sun is out on this Sunday afternoon here in Hicksville, New York, and we are going to see two teams that are going to go all out, especially in terms of the run game that Kevin just ran you through, because both teams have talented guys out of the backfield. And I also think the matchup with respect to the quarterbacks is intriguing too, because you had a changing of the guard, especially when you look at what Ian Williams is going to be bringing to the table, and he's the type of quarterback that could do a lot of damage with respect to his legs too.
He's got a big football IQ as well. He understands the game. He understands situational football, and it's just so important with high school kids that they get what's going on right now at the moment. You know, Colin Ballantyne, he is, again, another smart quarterback. Two very similar kids who I think we're going to see a really interesting battle here in the critical situations.
Williams took over as the starter in week 4. Ballantyne had been splitting duties in a 1A, 1B type of system, but now he is the man and is coming off an impressive performance against St. Peter's when he went 17 of 25 for 305 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he's got a plethora of wide receivers that are going to be joining him. It's going to be quite the battle, and it's going to be, I think the onus is going to be on Fordham Prep's offense, Kevin, as to whether or not they can match wits with, once again, a Holy Trinity offense that has not lacked scoring production.
And that Peters game really sent a message throughout the league. For those of you who don't know, Peters knocked off Chaminade 2 weeks ago in a very, very strong performance. So we're going to find out today, was that just a fluke, or does Fordham Prep really got it going on here?
As we see both teams here on the field in Hicksville, New York, as we are inching closer towards kickoff between both of these squads. It is Fordham Prep as well as Holy Trinity. Game presented here by Catholic Health is Ian Williams, who we were talking about earlier, coming in with 292 yards on the ground to go along with 228 yards through the air. So he is a dual threat quarterback that could do a lot of damage depending on what they choose to emphasize in the early stages of this game.
I think one of the things that really helps Ian today is a very sizable offensive line for the Titans. You've got some big kids up there. You know, they haven't started the same guys 2 weeks in a row on that offensive line, but they are showing a tremendous amount of ability. And if they can protect him, I think Ian's going to have a big day.
Yeah, what you were just referencing, Kevin, they haven't had the same offensive line for 2 weeks in a row, which is remarkable. And they're starting a pair of freshmen on the left side of this offensive line in Jaden Branch and Noah St. Hill. And Noah's also going to split time with Skylar Richardson, who is a senior at the left guard position. And then, of course, they have a pair of seniors on the right side of the offensive line. So it's a bit of inexperience on the left versus a lot of wealth of experience on the right.
Which tells us at the end of the day, expect the unexpected today. You're going to see some great football, and something tells me we may even see the ball bouncing around a little bit on the floor. Either way, I think it's going to be absolutely entertaining, Lance.
So we'll step aside. When we come back, we'll have the opening kickoff. We'll take you through the starting lineups. It's Holy Trinity and Fordham Prep here in Hicksville, New York on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Hi, I'm Katie Ledecky. As an Olympic athlete, you might think staying healthy is easy for me. Truth is, we all face challenges. Keeping the right mindset is how we achieve our best personal performance. At Catholic Health, the same focus on wellness and prevention that I follow every day is the way they think too. That's why I'm teaming up with Catholic Health to help make healthcare even more positive, proactive, and personal for every person across Long Island. Long live you, and long live Long Island.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming schedules and content, and on social media at Varsity Media.
Now is a great time to book a sportscast with Varsity Media. What sets our sportscast apart isn't just the quality of our production, it's the knowledge, passion, and professionalism that our announcers bring to every game.
It's Merrill. Oh, look at a fake by Merrill. There's the spin again. Gary Merrill is not human. Touchdown, St. Anthony. Profeta! 1-0, Garden City.
Our commentators research athletes and highlight storylines that matter to your communities. Our approach creates a broadcast experience that not only informs, but elevates the athletes, giving the kind of recognition usually reserved for professional levels. Varsity Media's announcers make sure that every athlete has their moment. So book a Varsity Media Sportscast today, and let's get your team the recognition it deserves. Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
And we are back here in Hicksville, New York, as we take a look at the head coach of Fordham Prep, Pat Dean, who's in his 8th year as the head man, graduated in 1988, so he's been aligned with this program for quite some time, went on to play at Pace University in New York in Westchester, and received a call from his high school coach about joining the staff, and the rest is history. Since 1997, he's been strong on the sideline and a main presence.
It's always been a pleasure for me professionally to not only compete against Pat, but also to consider him a friend. Pat is what you want in a high school football coach, as well as Coach Tassone. They're educators first, and that's what they're here for these kids.
As we see on the Holy Trinity sideline, Gino Tassone, and he is in his 2nd season as the head man. Graduated from this program in 1998, served as an assistant coach from 2003 to 10, then went on to be the head coach of Rosalind and Kennedy Catholic before he returned here to guide this program, and he has developed a wealth of talent, and actually both of his defensive coordinators played for him, so he promotes from within.
And you know what? You really need that here at Holy Trinity. The battle that Gino has to fight is Trinity has had to rebuild itself over the years, and they have big years, and then they dip a little bit, and then you rebuild for another big year, and that sounds like a lot of fun, but as a former coach, it's exhausting. And, he's just doing an outstanding job, as we've seen, as this season has gone along for the Titans.
As we are looking at the opening coin toss for this contest, the head referee is Alex Toussaint.
Alex is also a veteran white hat official, an outstanding official. He's one of those guys that'll drive you crazy as a head coach. No matter how much you scream at him, he smiles at you and he says everything's going to be okay. You don't believe him.
Presence, yes, at least on the peripheral. So it will be Holy Trinity's football to start this game as they exchange handshakes here at center field, and we are about to get underway on this Sunday afternoon as Holy Trinity is looking to make it 4 straight victories. Their last setback was to Xaverian, 22-0 on September 19th, whereas Fordham Prep, obviously it's been tough sledding for them. They've dropped 3 in a row to St. Francis Prep, Monsignor Farrell, as well as St. Peter's. So they are looking to snap a 3-game skid, and they have been outscored by over 100 points over the course of the season thus far.
But like I said, Lance, it's interesting to note here in the Catholic League, you talk about rebuilding yourself. St. Francis Prep is really playing outstanding football this year. They're making a mark in the Catholic League once again, and as well as St. Peter's. Tough kids from Staten Island really getting it done.
We take a look at the weather, 69 degrees, 18-mile-per-hour wind, and thanks to that, we're feeling it in the broadcast booth as well. This will be quite an adventure as we make sense of Holy Trinity and Fordham Prep, with Fordham Prep getting set to kick off, and it is going to be Marco Pena, their senior kicker, who also will handle the place kicking today.
Marco Pena kicking.
And Holy Trinity has several returners. Ian Williams, Darnell Rink, and Eric Hayes will be the 3 that we'll see over the course of this afternoon. And the opening kickoff is going to take a bounce into the end zone for a touchback, and no return opportunity for some of the dangerous men awaiting on Holy Trinity's side.
Really not a bad idea by the Rams to start the game out this way. Let's start it out with a controlled snap instead of the chaos that you can get sometimes in a kick return.
So we'll get our first look at the Titans offense. We talked about their offensive line right off the top. They have a mix of freshmen and seniors. Ian Williams is their starting quarterback. As we look at his numbers on the season, 15 of 28 for 228 yards and a touchdown. But it's the 7 rushing touchdowns that is something Fordham Prep is going to have to be aware of. As he took over as the starter week 4, he started the season as a wide receiver, so his receiving numbers are not too shabby as well. He's done it all. As they're going to come out and they're going to run the football with Demarion Singh trying to move that pile forward.
Great way for the Rams to start this game. You get Steve Ascano, comes right down hard the line and makes a big opening tackle.
Here is the Holy Trinity starting offense. We mentioned the mix of experience on the offensive line, and they have several wide receivers, including Joe Henn and Ronnie Hill Jr., that are going to do plenty of damage if Ian Williams can connect with them. So after a minimal gain on first down, Williams trying to survey the field here, and he's going to have to use his legs to extend the play, and he's going to throw out of play to salvage that.
Such a great play right there by the Fordham Rams. They sneak that back out of the backfield, pick that kid up. But I'll tell you what, when Ian Williams is running, you're in trouble.
So here's a look at the starting defense for Fordham. Tommy Gibbons is a player that goes both ways on the offensive line. Pierce Brogan as well, and Nick Monaco and Nick Hollahan. Those are the 2 interior linebackers that Pat Dean says they're going to be the X factors. If they can help stop the run, that is going to be a world of difference for his squad.
You know, especially, Lance, on a beautiful day like this breeze, though, creates problems in your throw game, and it's going across the field here, east to west.
So 3rd down coming up here for Williams and company as they try to keep this drive alive. And he's got a clean pocket, but it's collapsing abruptly, and Williams is going to take off and run up the sideline, and a little toe tap keeps him alive for a first down, and that is his athleticism on full display.
Take a look at this play. Big credit to the offensive line. They give him a beautiful pocket, but what a job of keeping this play alive, and great downfield block. Who is that young man? Wow, that's Darnell Rink. Beautiful block downfield by Darnell and keeping his hands inside.
And it looked like Matt Schaller, one of their cornerbacks, was in position but could not slow down the momentum of Ian Williams. So we talked about his legs, the fact that he comes in averaging nearly 10 yards per carry, which is extremely impressive before you even talk about what he can do as a passer. So a fresh set of downs for Holy Trinity, and right up the gut, muscling his way to give them a short second down is none other than Danny Bergen III, the senior back who stands 6'1" and 245.
Wow, way to keep those legs chugging. Look at that. He's getting those tough yards. It's the dirty yards where that wins these kind of games. Great job.
Well, Bergen certainly showcasing his meat and potatoes on that run, averaging 8 yards per carry coming in, as he had nearly $150 on the season prior to that one. He's also an excellent lacrosse player, so you can tell just the physicality that he brings to the table as that pass falls incomplete, intended for Joe Henn.
Nice looking play, though. That's a play I think, Lance, we're going to see them come back to. That's big boy football. Some real RPO. It was a true read. Coaches we're not telling Ian what to do on that play.
So they went for the pass, even though they just need 1 yard here to move the chains after the 9-yard run by Bergen. We'll see what they choose to do here with some big personnel on the field, and you can see Bergen lining up behind Williams here out of that I formation, and he is going to rumble and tumble and fight his way forward for what is going to be a first down.
Boy, that was very, very close right there. I don't know if it was a generous spot or not. I'm looking at it from the monitor, but look at this push.
And you saw Skylar Richardson, who rotates it at left guard, was trying to push the pile forward.
Bergen with a short gain.
So now they're not going to apparently award the first down. It's funny, the lines judge ran in from the far side, Kevin. It looked like he was in a spot to give them the yard, but it's going to be now 4th and 1, and the surge by Fordham Prep came through.
I was ready to blurt out, what a generous spot right there, but actually I think it was quite accurate.
So an opportunity here yet again, and a little activity early brings in a flag, and Fordham Prep was trying to apply the pressure against Holy Trinity. And it is going to be offsides on them, so they don't have to worry about trying to convert the 4th and 1, the Titans.
And that's interesting, too, because exactly what Holy Trinity was worried about, minimizing penalties, minimizing those impulsive reactions. Not only did they not do it, but they used it to turn it around on their opponent. Great play.
And one of the things that Pat Dean had mentioned about his Ram squad is he felt that they've put those young mistakes behind them. But, Kevin, as you well know from your coaching career, it's about timing. It's not so much the volume, it's about when those mishaps happen, and that could have been an opportunity maybe to get them off the field.
Especially this early in the game, Lance. The kids are just so darn excited.
So here's a quarterback keeper, and Williams, his shiftiness, though, is not going to fool the Rams. An excellent open field tackle by Fordham Prep.
Beautiful play right here. You know what? The play was actually, there was a little bit of a miscue in the backfield there that slowed things down, and what a job by that defensive end.
Yeah, that was David Aguimani.
Oh, David, what a great job by him. Coming down flat, not putting himself in chase. Really, really sharp football. You know, these guys may be young, Lance, but it just shows you we're getting late in the season. Everybody's getting better.
As Aguimani, the junior, who plays both inside and outside on that defensive front. So Williams with the short pass as momentum stopped at the 40-yard line. That was hauled in by Jay-Sean Grafton, their first-year wideout.
And you could see this quick release, a great play. You know, let's calm things down, give ourselves something a little bit more manageable, cut those chains in half.
That was Rafael Nero, the outside linebacker, wrapping up Grafton. So 3rd and 6 coming up here. And on their last opportunity was 3rd and 1. They were stuffed at the line of scrimmage, but then didn't have to worry about 4th and 1 because of an offsides penalty. as we approach the 7-minute mark here in quarter number 1. And Williams is going to have that pocket collapse, so he's going to have to take off and fire, and it's incomplete. And a flag, though, is going to come in late after the defensive back seemed to make a clean stop, as that was Nick Monaco actually in coverage, their inside linebacker.
Let's see what we got going on here. I think we're seeing the beginnings of a screen, all right, which is why we got so much pressure on Ian. But again, with those legs of his, he sure is able to turn it on.
So defensive pass interference, the call against Monaco.
Fordham, but there was an ineligible player down the field for Trinity.
So it's offsetting penalties because of an ineligible receiver downfield. So that's why we're going to have a replay here on 3rd down. And Fordham Prep fortunate that those were offset.
And one of the problems that you have when you're running RPO football, you're throwing a lot, those linemen don't know what's going to happen, and they do start to drift up the field a bit.
Especially a guy that can extend the play. And Ian Williams, to your point, you never know when the play's going to stop under these circumstances. We're going to have a timeout taken here early on in the first quarter. Holy Trinity wanting to talk over strategy to determine what they want to do here on this 3rd down. So with that being said, we'll take a break as we step aside from Hicksville, New York, with a scoreless affair on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Now's your chance to score a touchdown with Varsity Media's ISO video. Video footage that focuses on your athlete only. Perfect for recruiting reels. Spots are limited, so reach out today. Email jeff@varsitymedia.net to book your next ISO video with Varsity Media.
So Holy Trinity back on the field, looking to convert a 3rd and manageable. After the offsetting penalties, we've seen Ian Williams utilize his legs. We've seen them showcase Danny Bergen and Joe Henn involved as well. No surprise, their number 1 wide receiver who can absolutely be a home run hitter if they can also get him out in open space. So we see the I formation out of the backfield as they send Henn in motion. And Williams is going to hand it off, and an excellent tackle in the backfield by Kevin Taylor, the outside linebacker, preventing Singh from getting any wiggle room.
Oh, what a play right here by Kevin Taylor. Look at him get penetration up the field. I mean, he was getting outflanked by 2 blockers. He has every right to be excited, that young man.
Great anticipation, Kevin, in terms of him surging through the traffic after the hesitation on the delay handoff.
Now, this is where this wind really starts to come into play, Lance. You know, it's going to be a true field position situation today, but they are going for it.
Well, keep in mind, Ian Williams also serves as the punter for Holy Trinity, so this could be one of those scenarios, Kevin, where they show their offense, but he may actually wind up punting. And a delay of game penalty is going to back them up, and that may have been intentional to give them a little bit more flexibility here.
Give them a little bit more space, see if they could roll this ball out there.
So we are seeing Williams here out of the gun, but once again, he could very well punt, and he's going to look to throw, and that is going to be a reception and a first down. So Holy Trinity keeps its offense on the field, and Darnell Rink. Are they going to be just short? It looked as if maybe he got that, but it actually was not enough. So it'll be a turnover on downs.
Wow. Just 1 yard short, and what a successful defensive series here by the Fordham Rams. I mean, if Fordham has a chance to win this game, they needed to come out strong. And that's what they did on this defensive series. Bend but don't break. Now let's see what they can do on offense against a very big defensive line from Holy Trinity.
That was Matt Schaller in coverage, and it looked as if there may have been enough there, but apparently the game of inches came back to bite Holy Trinity. So off the turnover on downs as we look at now Colin Ballantyne, the quarterback for Fordham Prep, and their running game is going nowhere on this one.
Ballantyne hands off to McKay, but it's a loss of 1.
You know, that's the thing here with football. You've got to do it on every side of the three-sided coin here.
As we look at the Rams offense, Mendham Ducaj, clearly the player to watch. Their star wide receiver, Luke McKay, who had the handoff, is one of their top runners who also can catch the ball out of the backfield. He had 2 catches for 40 yards in last week's game against St. Peter's. So they wound up losing 2 yards on that. It'll be 2nd and 12 here. And Ballantyne trying to survey the field here with it collapsing on him, and he's going to dump it off for a reception, a first down, and then some, as Ballantyne hitting Alessandro Sanchez, the senior wide receiver.
Well, we see 2 quarterbacks that their area of expertise is keeping the play alive. Look at him get his eyes downfield. Great job by Colin, and what a catch and finish.
That'll be 1st and 10 Rams.
Lance, we could see the Fordham Rams here are trying to spread out this big Trinity defense, but Trinity is daring them to throw the ball.
Well, here they're going to run the ball, as McKay just trying to make a man miss, and he is going nowhere. Tripped up. You had Tyler Jarek involved on that play, as well as Skylar Richardson. As we look at their teammates on the defensive side of the ball, and Joe Henn, who we highlighted off the top, is part of their linebacking core. Rink also is somebody that plays on both sides, and Burgeon, who takes care of business on many different fronts.
Get a lot of young players out here. It impresses me how well these teams are doing and how many sophomores they're starting.
And that's why there's been some growing pains for this team. Off the play action, Ballantyne hesitant, and now he's going to throw it towards the far side. And they're going to at least eat into some of the yardage they need. That was Lake Cheesy, their junior wide receiver.
Lake does a really nice job on this reception of getting his pads down, making himself small. Beautiful job by Colin and just not dumping it down to the running back so early.
It's going to be 3rd down and 7.
So that makes it somewhat manageable with 3rd and 7 coming up here. Ballantyne coming off a 300-yard passing performance in his last contest, and they're going to need every ounce of that perhaps today if they can't get this running game going. And again, the minute McKay gets the handoff, he is twirled down.
It's a big tackle by Joe Henn.
As Joe Henn came surging through their two-way player.
You know, the flavor of the day in high school football has been the counter play. So what everybody knows is the counter tray. But the way to defeat that counter tray is penetration. And this Holy Trinity defense is penetrating, to say the least.
So they're going to keep their offense out on the field as it appears right now. On 4th down, trying to move the chains here. And Ballantyne is just going to have to drop it off, and that is successful out into open space, and taking it to the house for a touchdown is Lake Cheesy, and that is what you call turning nothing into something as Fordham Prep gets on the board first. A penalty does come in after, but that's for the celebration.
Look at this play. Look at Lake right here. A middle screen coming in from the slot receiver. Beautiful job by the O-line. And you know what? The referees didn't like the ball spin. I don't know. I think that kid has every right to celebrate. Big day, big play. Congratulations, Lake.
So Lake finds the end zone after it appeared they were going backwards, and they were able to set him up on the right side of the field. And he is one of those home run hitters that can create explosive plays. When Pat Dean was talking about his receiving core, he said if we could get those guys out in open space, it could be a huge difference maker today. So the penalty is going to be assessed on the kickoff, and now we'll see Marco Pena come out to kick the extra point. And that is right through to make it a 7-0 Rams advantage here on the road as Lake Cheesy bidding goodbye to the Holy Trinity defense en route to the end zone with some yardage after the catch. As we'll take a look at this last touchdown, Ballantyne getting his top target out up the right sideline and leaving Holy Trinity behind in the dust. A 7-0 lead.
Help keep Varsity Media's broadcasts free on YouTube by considering an
in this first quarter.
So we're back here in Hicksville, New York, as we look at what Holy Trinity can do in response, as this is a team that has not been in this situation much throughout the course of the year, and Fordham Prep also now acting out in front. So a bit of reversal of roles here, Kevin, in the early goings.
And you talk about the little things that win and lose games. Big decision right here by Coach Tassone to try to keep the ball on the field, get an extra play with his kick return team, rather than assess it on the extra point in a tough wind and make it 6-0.
So Pena is going to kick off. With Darnell Rink, one of the individuals back to receive it, and the wind wreaking havoc here with the football. So they're going to have to realign it.
This also affects the kickoff. You know, when they're going to give him another chance to tee up this ball. You get 2 tries before somebody has to hold it. But if somebody has to hold it, it means you're taking a tackler out of your kickoff team. And that's not good against the Titans.
So here is the kickoff from Pena, and that is going to take a bounce into the end zone over the head of Darnell Rink for a touchback.
Touchback, and your Titans are going to start on the 20-yard line.
So 20-yard line will be the starting field positioning for the Titans, who were inches away from keeping their offense out on the field on their first drive after Ian Williams and the offense stayed out on the field on a 4th and long, and it was a tackle by Schaller to prevent the damage.
Very, very important drive here for the Titans. Get themselves on the board. You know, the last thing they want to be with Fordham Rams is in a track meet.
Especially given what we saw Lake Cheesy do right out of the gates. You know the Rams are capable of taking it to the house. So similar positioning to where the first drive was, as Ian Williams and company going to have to put together an 80-yard drive if they want to get a taste of the end zone. And he's going to dump it off here to Darnell Rink, and Rink is going to be twirled down just shy of the 25-yard line.
Well, that was one close tackle right there. I mean, we don't get a hold of that jersey right there. And this young man is going a big distance.
Rink, junior wideout, who mans the outside in this offense. And his head coach referring to him as one of the solid players that they can rely on, as good as they come. So after a 5-yard pickup, the run game is going backwards. And notice it took 3 guys to bring down Bergen.
Look at this fill by Kevin Cameron. Kevin Cameron gets himself, oh, what a collision. There comes Kevin on the fill-in. And as you see, folks, Fordham has come to play football. They're not sitting around watching this game. They're buzzing all over the field. They're excited.
And that was actually Tyler Jarek on the carry. So it was the gang tackle of their other running back, sophomore, who averages 5.5 yards per carry coming in. And here's a 3rd down. They've had mixed results so far in this game. Williams, he's going to take his time, and the throw is high and off the fingertips of Joe Hen. So another decision here for Holy Trinity, as they'll be facing yet another 4th down. And remember, we continue to emphasize Williams is their punter, so just because he's on the field does not mean that they are going to be running an offensive play. You know, this roster for Holy Trinity is not nearly as big as Fordham Prep, so there are multiple players that take on different roles in all 3 facets of the team. And Williams is certainly atop the list there.
I think right now, Lance, Trinity seems like a team to me offensively that had big eyes offensively for this game. They need to settle down. You're not going to win the game on 1 touchdown or any one play.
So this is going to roll right at the edge of midfield. And it is going to be favorable field positioning. And I guess there's an argument about whether or not anyone touched it in the pursuit of the football. But as it stands right now, they're going to mark it down right at midfield. So they're only going to have to go half the field here, Fordham Prep, after getting a touchdown on their first possession.
Well, this is, you know, it's not too early to talk about dominating the clock, and this is where Fordham Prep needs to give that effort at that run game. Get downfield, gain some yards, and move the chains.
So 10 seconds to go here in quarter number 1. Ballantyne with the pump fake, and that throw wide and incomplete, intended for Sanchez, one of their team captains.
For number 11, Alessandro Sanchez, incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
I think what Fordham's trying to figure out right now is how do we get Luke McKay in this game? You know, they've had some trouble. They've had some trouble running the counter trey. They've had some trouble against that big defensive line. The answer may be using those very talented hands of his.
And he's a 3-down back, so they leave him on the field because of his ability to catch out of the backfield. 2nd and 10, and an inside handoff, and that is going to be a positive run to end the first quarter with Nick Monaco out of the wing formation that they utilize, and he was able to find an opening on that inside handoff as we look at Ballantyne getting it to Lake and him finding the pay dirt with the highlight of the first quarter to give Fordham Prep a 7-0 lead after 1 here in Hicksville on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
At St. Francis Heart Center, we're not just regional heart experts. We share our greater success with the world. We don't just pioneer technology. We do it more than anywhere on Greater Long Island. And we don't just win awards. We deliver greater outcomes for people like you. As New York's only specialty designated cardiac center, we're not satisfied with just being good. This is Long Island. This is St. Francis Heart Center. And greater lives here.
Back here in Hicksville, New York, as we start the second quarter with Fordham Prep leading Holy Trinity 7-0. And they're going to look to, again, work that inside handoff, and Holy Trinity unable to prevent them from picking up that first down, as that is going to move the chains.
But, you know, I mentioned a little earlier, Lance, that this game He's going to be about the little things. And what we're seeing right now, that was a huge, huge play right there.
So Fordham Prep trying to finish this drive and take a 2-touchdown lead. Here's McKay, and McKay slips through and nearly makes another man miss as he's brought down at the 30, just shy of the first down marker.
Oh, that kid is slippery. We get to see Tommy Gibbons and Michael Zuccarella right here, folks. Look at this blocking. And then, of course, you got Pierce Brogan on a huge pancake block over there on the defensive end. What feat by McKay.
As that was Darnell Rink that was able to wrap him up. If he didn't do that, that easily could have been a McKay touchdown. So they are knocking on the door yet again. And doing it methodically this time, as this jet sweep is not going to go much of anywhere. This time, Holy Trinity made sure that Lake Cheesy did not have a lot of room to operate.
Not that I would ever second-guess Coach Dean. He is a dean of coaches. But the jet sweep's going to be a tough play to run against Holy Trinity. They flow hard. They run to the ball. They really, you've got to be very, very fast to be effective on that play against these guys. That being said, the Rams are still in a very manageable situation.
So 3rd and 3 coming up here for the Rams. And Ballantyne's going to throw off the slant. He finds a man, and that is going to take them into the red zone as they move the chains once again. Mendham Dakaj, their #1 wide receiver, doing the heavy lifting there.
Look at this play. Not an RPO. This is a play-action pass, and what a great, great job. I can hear Coach Dean yelling at me in my headsets about my comment on the jet sweep. But that, I'll tell you what he's doing for Colin right now. He's giving him very, very manageable plays to run.
Yeah, they're not going for the home run. They're getting their guys out in open space, trying to rely on Yak. And it is doing wonders as they now mix in the run game. Here's McKay. He's got the angle and the edge, but ran out of space as Marcus Abelard came in from the cornerback position.
We're seeing a confidence build here right now. You know, earlier in the game, I said we've got to get Luke McKay involved in this football game, and creatively they're being able to do that right now. Excellent balance on the attack between pass and run.
We see Luke McKay has the ability to run inside, also outside, so they like to tap into that versatility as he is in the backfield with a 2nd down coming up. And Ballantyne, another inside handoff, just one more man to beat, but the ball comes loose, and Holy Trinity recovers with Skylar Richardson as Nick Monaco coughed it up after it looked like it parted like the Red Sea, and then it closed up. A costly turnover in the red zone, what easily could have been 7 points.
What a play right here. Look at this collision. Great textbook tackle. Getting your pads down, your helmet on the ball, and Skylar comes up with a gem. Very, very fortunate for Trinity, but I'll tell you what, it wasn't lucky. They made that play happen.
And you know who poked it out? The quarterback of all players, Kevin. Ian Williams from the safety position, and then Skylar Richardson, it just bounced right into his lap, the big man, with one of the easiest fumble recoveries he'll have in his career. And keep this play in mind, Kevin, because depending on how this plays out, this could be a huge swing point-wise, as now they'll go to the ground, Holy Trinity, with their backs up against the end zone. And look at that pile just chugging forward with a battle of wills in the trenches. Good luck trying to make sense of where that landed.
Wow, I don't know who made that tackle, but there was a bunch of them on there. Look at these guys. You know, both of these teams have come out here to win this game. You know, we're seeing some missteps and we're seeing some miscues, but how is that different from any other high school football game that we've seen this year, Lance?
Well, the philosophy doesn't change. regardless of the circumstances. That was Tyler Jarek who was given that handoff. So we've got a second down coming up. As we approach 8.5 minutes in the first half here. And Williams is looking to throw, and he's going to take a shot deep down the field, and it's hauled in by Darnell Rink, who's muscled down in Fordham Prep territory as Matt Schaller was able to bring him down at the legs.
What a great play by Ian Williams right here. You know, here's a young man that's saying, I haven't started out this game the way I wanted to. I've got to make something happen, and there you have it right there. Outstanding job. And the coverage was strong. He dropped it right in the bucket right there.
Schaller was with him every step of the way. Rink just made a play for his quarterback on a jump ball. So we see Singh now coming in as they'll move some personnel around on the far side of your screen. And Williams is going to look to take another shot. He's working the sideline again, and this time Schaller able to break it up. There is laundry, though, on the field. So we'll await word from Alex Toussaint, the head ref. As, again, Schaller and Rink were with each other every step of the way up the left sideline. Though the flag came in on the opposite side of the field.
Not surprised to see this call. You know, Coach Toussaint's doing a really good job, if you notice, folks, of moving the receivers around. He's mixing up his matchups, and it's all about speed. You know, there's some height difference here, but this is all about speed. And I think he's finally found something right now that he's very comfortable with. It's making the Rams very uncomfortable.
So they'll operate here from the 35, and a gang tackle brings down Danny Bergen III. That closed up very quickly as we saw David Aguimani again in the thick of things.
You know, we also see number 68, Pierce Brogan, get plenty of penetration in there. And kind of, you know, these kind of stalls can hurt you.
Brogan is receiving D3 offers from a few programs, Hamilton and Franklin and Marshall. The senior, in all likelihood, will be taking his talents to the next level. And right now he's trying to slow down Ian Williams. As Williams spots up, fires, and that is going to be incomplete. Trying to get the ball to Darnell Rink again.
Big boy play by the Rams right there. They really disrupt that pass right at the last second. You know, folks, it is windy over here, and we're watching these two quarterbacks sling the ball all over the field. It is not easy. It is not easy to pass the ball today. It's not easy to catch the ball today with this type of breeze.
And that's why it's impressive, the conversions that Williams has made, especially the one that he threw deep down the left sideline because of the wind factor.
Absolutely.
So 3rd and 12 coming up here. And Williams is going to stay in the pocket, and he's going to be dragged down with a flag coming in as Kevin Cameron treated him like a rag doll.
Oh. And you know what? Holy Trinity brought in an extra pass blocker on that play, but the Fordham Rams have their ears pinned back, and they are going after it.
And this is going to go against Fordham Prep. It's going to be a face mask penalty. And hard to see whether or not the left hand may have gotten a piece of that, because it looked like the right hand was clean based on that replay.
Yeah, I think he got his hand in there, and, he did a great job of playing it off. But still gives us a 3rd down here.
So Kevin Cameron's not going to record his 2nd sack of the season, and instead, Holy Trinity is going to move up the field here as a result of that personal foul.
Trinity fans are getting wild here. I feel like I'm in an earthquake up here in the press box.
Especially when you factor in the wind on top of that, Kevin. So we're getting it from every angle. It almost feels like we're on the football field.
I was wrong, Lance. There was enough yards on that personal foul for a 1st down.
So they have Tyler Jarek in the backfield out of the I here with Williams. And Williams is going to use those legs, and he's going to go across the field, and that is going to be a shoestring catch from his knees. Rodney Hill Jr., welcome to the party as he was shaken up after that reception.
Boy, here we see Ian again, keeping the play alive. Linemen keeping their hands inside, giving him, he had plenty of time here. Beautiful idea. Oh, he gets bent around just a little bit. Hopefully he shakes that off.
Rafael Nero was going for the ball, so you see now he's going to be attended to by the training staff. Their vet leader in that receiving corps. Hopefully not too serious, and they'll try to stretch him out. But nonetheless, Holy Trinity now inside the 10-yard line, looking to tie this game down by a touchdown with under 6 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. And now we see Danny Bergen in the backfield. Williams is going to throw, and towards the end zone, the ball is reached out for and down at the 1 by Joe Henn. And he's fortunate that that wasn't a fumble. That may have took a dangerous bounce as he looked to reach out on the 2nd effort.
I actually thought that might have been a touchback. Fumble and a touchback. But you know what? Referee is standing, Tim Smith is standing about 4 feet away from that play. He has a better look than I do. And he is a veteran official. I'm sure he got it right.
Well, I was thinking the same exact thing that you were, Kevin, because he was trying to reach out, it appeared, and in the process of that, you could have maybe made an argument that the ball was lost in the process, but they're going to say he was down at the 1. So now they're looking to finish here on 2nd and goal. It has been an eventful first half for the Titans. And Williams is going to have to get rid of it here as he's circling around the defense and finally puts it out of play.
Very, very smart play by Ian. That rule changed in high school about 4 years ago. Once you're out of the pocket, as long as you reach, just like the pros, as long as you reach the line of scrimmage, you can throw it and get rid of it. That would have been a difficult sack to take.
So 3rd and goal coming up here for a Holy Trinity. As you figure, this is absolutely 4th down territory given where they are knocking on the door.
Oh, there's no turning back on this one. It's touchdown or bust.
And this comes after Fordham Prep fumbled the ball in the red zone.
Are we at an Eagles game here?
Not a tush-push, but a pitch out to Joe Henn while there's so much activity in the trenches, and Henn is going to walk in with ease to bring them within a point with the extra point head pending.
What a play right here. I'm waiting for the tush-push to come out. What an ingenious play. What a great call. And you know what, folks, at home, flipping that ball around that way, there's nothing easy about that. Outstanding job by those kids.
All of the attention went towards what was happening in the trenches, and Joe Henn was left all alone to get into the end zone. As we're going to see Jay Sean Grafton try to convert this, and that is going to be no good. So it'll stay a Fordham Prep 1-point lead, 7-6 here late in the 2nd quarter. So they finally solved the riddle, Holy Trinity, but they still trail by a point as we step aside on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Help keep Varsity Media's broadcasts free on YouTube by considering an advertising sponsorship. Our coverage of local games helps local businesses get visibility in the community. To learn more about our sponsorship packages and rates, email Ben at varsitymedia.net.
So now Fordham Prep is going to have an opportunity to perhaps milk the final 4 minutes and change, and if they can get a score, that could be critical for them because they are going to get the ball, Kevin, to start the third quarter. They could do a little bit of a double dip here.
Really, really important series for Fordham Prep, and it doesn't matter what kind of points they get, field goal or touchdown, putting points on the board here. They've got 3 timeouts. Take your time. They've got McKay is back involved in this game. It's going to be an interesting end to this half.
So the kickoff coming here, which will be attempted by Danny Bergen III. Now this is his debut in this role, as Holy Trinity is completely shaking up their kicking game. You had Grafton is new on extra points, and Bergen is new on kickoffs. Ian Williams is the only one that actually had been involved for the majority of the season in his punting role. So talk about quite the shakeup, even in the midst of a 3-game winning streak.
Lance, I was just thinking about this. This whole turn of events here with Holy Trinity all started by a tackle by the quarterback.
Yeah, he forced that fumble.
Absolutely incredible play.
And then a great play call on their side of things with the pitch to Joe Henn. And that right there is a 14-point swing, even though technically they didn't get the extra point. But the math does certainly check out. You take a touchdown off the board on one end, and you add it on the other, and that is going to bounce in to the end zone for a touchback. So we're going to see Fordham Prep come out to the 20-yard line, and they're going to have just over 4 minutes to toy with if they could put together a lengthy drive. And, Kevin, the best recipe to put that fumble in the back burner is to come back right away and find the end zone.
And I hope their plan right now, if I tend to enjoy watching offensive football no matter what color jersey they're wearing, is use the same formula that got you down there in the first place. It was unfortunate for the Rams what happened down there on the 2-yard line, but what they did to get there was perfect.
So Ballantyne looking to lead the charge yet again. Little play action, and he is going to be sacked. And I don't even know if that's a fair description. It was almost a push down on the part of Skylar Richardson.
Yeah, look at Skylar come in here off the edge. Great job by him. Great job. Puts him down.
That was more of a love tap, I would say, Kevin. I don't know. It's going to go down as a sack, but that was more of a shove and react.
Now it's that kind of play that kind of now changes Trinity's thinking. I would not be surprised if they can hold him again. We're going to see a timeout by the Titans.
And that was Richardson's first sack of the season. And they're going to get a handoff to McKay, and McKay is wrapped up by Joe Henn as he was brought down just shy of the 25-yard line.
Rams sticking with this counter offensive plays, running it a little bit differently that time. Nice job, McKay. Boy, he sure does has a nose for the seams.
And also a patient runner waiting for things to develop before he chooses his route.
Yeah, and, I love running backs like this. They have 3 or 4 different speeds. They take their time, and then they attack the weaknesses.
So third down coming up here for the Rams. Try to keep this drive alive. And that is going to be, again, the defensive presence of Holy Trinity getting into the backfield as a sack recorded by Tyler Jarek.
Boy, Tyler Jarek has one deep gas tank. He has been, he's been quiet today, but he's been all over the field. Now he makes his presence shown.
So that is Jarek's third sack of the season. He came in tied for first, so now he's in sole possession of that category. First we saw Richardson, and then Jarek cleaning it up. So we take a look at the upcoming CHS FL Championships. You can stay locked right here to Varsity Media, your home for those title matchups, and you can head to youtube.com/Varsity Media to take in all the action. As we'll have the special teams unit come out here for Fordham Prep. Kevin Taylor is their punter.
This is the situation, Lance, that keeps you awake at night as a head coach. This is a very difficult punt situation. You're pushed down in your own end. You've got this crazy wind swirling around you. Very, very important.
Now, Ian Williams is back to receive as that one just got off. And it is going to take a Fordham Prep roll back into the opposing territory at the 49-yard line. Still, though, a short field for Holy Trinity and plenty of time for them to perhaps walk away with another score.
And at the same time, beautiful punt execution by the Fordham Rams. They just gave themselves another 42 yards, get themselves out of that pit, and now play some defense. Both of these teams have been playing very, very strong team defensive concepts, but at the same time, we've seen tons of explosive plays by both sets of offenses. Big chunk plays.
So Williams, who had the touchdown pitch to Joe Henn on the last drive, will look to capitalize in these final 2+ minutes. And he is going to get rid of it as he lets it rip for a completion, hitting Tyler Jarek, who was running a route. No, excuse me, that was Darnell Rink.
Good for a gain of 5.
Love the play call. Love the play call. And you know what? I like to see that Trinity is taking their time. They have time here. Execute correctly.
And he's going to take a shot deep down the field, and that one over the head of Joe Henn, as that was a tight race up the sideline.
Pass intended for Joe Henn, incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
Well, we are definitely in two down territory here for the Titans.
Stick around.
At the same time, Lance, Fordham has an opportunity to get this ball back, strangely enough.
Well, because of the incompletion, you stop the clock,
Yeah.
and now it's 3rd and 5. And if you're in a passing situation here and you don't convert, they very well will have plenty of time to maneuver, as Darnell Rink cannot handle that pass, and that is another incompletion that stops the clock.
Williams, the pass intended for Rink, incomplete.
So now Holy Trinity a decision to make
It'll be 4th down
in terms of what they're going to
and
do on 4th and 5. And right now, it appears they're going to keep their offense out here.
As you said, Ian, this is the perfect time. You have a quarterback that can punt the ball to maybe pooch one a little deep, get out of this half at 7-6, regroup at halftime, and come in with some new thoughts for the second half.
Yeah, pin Fordham Prep back and tell them to go 80+ yards or whatever it may be.
It is interesting. It's Ian's a little bit deeper right now.
Well, right now it looks like they're running their offense, and it may have gotten that much easier. A flag comes in as multiple Rams jumped.
flag on the play.
It was 4th and 5, so if this is offsides, and it is, that is going to be
That's a 5-yard
a first down.
And Holy First down.
And that's the second time we've seen offsides called in this game.
And kudos to Holy Trinity. You know, it's not just about making the Rams jump off. It's about keeping yourselves onsides. Great discipline by the kids, understanding the situation, the importance of that situation.
So with a fresh set of downs and 1:44 to go, still ample time for them to run the football a little bit if they choose to. As we've got 3 receivers out wide. And Williams is going to look to attack down the right sideline, and that is incomplete over the head of Darnell Rink.
That pass intended for Darnell Rink, incomplete. It'll be second down and 10.
You know, Holy Trinity still has time to chew away at the smaller bits here. You got 1:39. It's only second down, you know, and Fordham is giving them those 5- and 6-yard hitch routes. There's a lot of value in those. I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to grab 1 or 2.
So Ian Williams has been looking the way of Darnell Rink a lot in this game to complement Joe Henn. And Williams is going to take off, and he is still trying to move forward as he was heading towards the 35-yard line. And that is where they're going to mark this ball, so that'll set up a manageable third down.
Big play by the Rams right here. I mean, not only do we stop Ian, but they're keeping this clock running. Seconds starting to get down to some real deep time.
That was Nick Monaco who grabbed him from behind and wrestled him down. So they're going to give him 6 yards on that. And this is going to be right at the first down marker. And it is a catch. And based on where they position it, it looks like it may be enough to move the chains, and it is.
It's good for 4 yards, and that's good for a Trinity first down.
So with under a minute to go, a fresh set of downs here for Holy Trinity. And another pass towards the sideline, and it is low and incomplete, as that was again Darnell Rink.
Incomplete.
Love the play call. Love the play call. I love the thinking. You know, the Rams are starting to defend the end zone right now, and they're getting deeper and deeper. I don't think they have to run it that deep. 5-6 yards, I think, is plenty, and just keep stepping out of bounds.
Less than a minute remaining in the first half.
Bits and pieces trying to march down the field, aided by, of course, a defensive offsides on a 4th and 5. And Rink has been so effective working the sideline with Ian Williams thus far. And some pre-snap movement as a flag comes in.
Yeah, that one's going to hurt. That one hurts you.
So they'll back him up 5 yards.
Now that short pass suggestion becomes a little bit more difficult.
That's going to move that back 5 yards.
So it becomes now 2nd and 15.
It'll be second down and 15.
Tell you, Lance, I can't tell you how. 2 things I'm impressed by. Ian, who's really has not had a lot of time behind the center this year, his ability to keep his composure and extend the plays. What I'm also impressed by is Fordham's ability to stop the run. I did not expect that this game.
Especially given with the personnel that is showcased in that backfield, and having to also worry about Ian Williams, who acts as a passer to perfection. He converts it to Joe Henn, who then runs out of play as they were in a precarious spot on a 2nd and 15, and Joe Henn was able to eat away at that.
That completion to Joe Henn is good for a gain of 12.
Really big play. I mean, not only have they shortened the chains, but they've also stopped the clock. We're looking at 46 seconds on here. Great catch, great ball security. Sharp kid.
And Schaller locked up with him at the very end to prevent him from getting to the first down marker.
Look at the depth that they have on Hen right now. He's open again on a quick out.
And Williams, pass deflected at the line of scrimmage.
Big knockdown right there by number 6, David. Great job, David.
The presence of that defensive line, they utilize a lot of their offensive linemen who play both ways. And we've seen Kevin Cameron be active, even though he had a sack wiped away from a penalty. And Tommy Gibbons and Pierce Brogan, David Aguimani as well. All of them making their presences felt. So 4th down here for Holy Trinity. Trying to keep this drive alive, and Williams lost his footing, and Kevin Cameron is going to force an incomplete pass and a turnover on downs. What a play by Fordham Prep to shut the door on the Titans.
Oh, they've got him trapped here. I'm actually surprised we're not seeing a grounding call here. Maybe there was an early whistle. I don't see anybody in the area.
That's what Fordham Prep was arguing on their sideline, and a flag now does pop up. So let's see.
We've got a flag on the play.
And intentional grounding is going to be the call.
Not expecting anything big right now from the Rams. I think the Rams are up by a point. That's all you need to win these games. And I think what they're going to do is not do anything foolish and take this into halftime.
5 yards from the spot of the foul.
So they had turned it over on downs, so the loss of downs really at this point is irrelevant, but it's the 5 yards that gets tacked on that helps Fordham Prep move forward a little. But as you noted, you're not expecting them to dig deep into their bag of tricks here and be content with perhaps the 1-point lead, knowing that they will be getting the ball to start the 3rd quarter. But let's see here, as Ballantyne is going to look to create something up the sideline, and a dangerous pass is intercepted. And that is the worst possible result. Eric Hayes, the outside linebacker for the Titans, all of a sudden giving Holy Trinity life down the stretch here.
Well, Lance, I think I've retired from the prediction business, all right? I was predicting punts with you a few weeks ago that never came, and look at that play.
Well, you could throw the intentional grounding penalty out the window as well.
Yes.
It's almost like we're back where we started.
Well, I'm going to finish this half off with one more prediction. I think we're going to see Ian launch this thing to Mars.
Understandable also that Holy Trinity has a little bit of a different perspective considering they weren't going to be getting the ball to start the 3rd quarter, and Williams, I'm sure, is anxious to make up for him not getting rid of the ball cleanly and picking up the penalty. And he's going to try to get out of this one, and it's going to be unsuccessful as Fordham Prep lays down the hammer yet again as they're able to bottle up Williams. David Aguimani, again, all over the place.
This defensive line's got to be very proud of themselves. They have not put on a show like this entire season. I mean, they've been good, but not this good. This is outstanding work. And you know what? They're taking advantage of an offensive line that's trying to find a rhythm. They're trying to find the right group of kids to work together, and they're also dealing with injuries.
That was the 3rd sack of the season for Aguimani, so that breaks a tie for first place. He's now in sole possession, and Pat Dean absolutely loves what he brings to the table. You know, he's technically not a starter up front, but they play him enough given the rotation that you might as well call him that. And he has been so disruptive this season, he's actually even had an interception in his box score.
Well, you know what? At 6'4", 240 pounds, I think this junior, there's a place for him somewhere in college football to play. And I definitely, as a student at Fordham Prep University, Fordham Prep High School, a big academic
the way he's
school.
playing, he may be in the university level.
Yeah, exactly. There is a spot for him someplace.
So the sack now backs Holy Trinity up. And they're just going to dump it off here. And Danny Bergen, the third, still circling around that Fordham Prep defense. And the final seconds are going to tick away, and that is going to be it. So quite the adventure in the last two possessions of this one. Fordham Prep turning it over, Holy Trinity getting it back, and then the Rams responding with a sack as Fordham Prep will enter the locker room with a 7-6 lead over Holy Trinity. As we take a look at the interception by Eric Hayes to give his offense another shot, but Fordham Prep's defense had other plans, and it has been quite the low-scoring affair as a result. A 7-6 game at the break as we move on here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Help keep Varsity Media's broadcasts free on YouTube by considering an advertising sponsorship. Our coverage of local games helps local businesses get visibility in the community. To learn more about our sponsorship packages and rates, email Ben at varsitymedia.net.
Long live the morning routine. Long live friendly competition. Long live cozy nights at home. And long live healthcare that works with your life. Access to great doctors, simple mobile app, convenient locations across Long Island? Absolutely. You have options, but at Catholic Health, we'd like to remind you to choose you first, because we did too. Long live you, and long live Long Island.
You've seen the dedication, the long hours, the early mornings, the sacrifice. You know your athlete has what it takes, but how do you make sure the right people see it? The recruiting process isn't easy. Coaches are flooded with highlights, but how do you stand out in the crowd? At Varsity Media, we specialize in creating game-changing ISO videos, high-definition, athlete-focused footage that highlights exactly what college recruiters want to see. With our up-close ISO video, we capture your athlete's key moments. No more wide angles showing other players. This is just your athlete's pure, raw talent. This is more than a video. This is the opportunity your athlete deserves. Give your athlete the edge they need. Make the right impression with Varsity Media's ISO video service. The future starts now.
Hey parents, coaches, and players. Ever wonder what makes Varsity Media stand out as the tri-state leader in sports live streaming and videography?
If you're looking to optimize your sporting event, look no further than Varsity Media's coverage. Since working with them over the course of the past 4 years through the Elite 5 New York City Football Showcase, their coverage has helped take us to the top.
Varsity Media does an unbelievable job in terms of the broadcast, backgrounds on kids, do a great job in exposure from top to bottom. I couldn't really say anything negative. It's been a great couple of years that we've been working together, and it's just fantastic.
Well, I'll tell you, the fact that you guys are here has helped grow it, really. I mean, Varsity Media has been a good partner with us now for the last couple of years. That brings this game to a much broader audience.
The level of detail and that you go to, I mean, obviously the announcers, the camera angles, the slow motions, I mean, you feel like it's being covered by, ESPN.
If you'd like to book with Varsity Media, reach out at 516-403-2050 or email Ben at varsitymedia.net. For the latest news in high school sports, be sure to check out varsitymedia.net or follow us on social media at Varsity Media.
Now is a great time to book a sportscast with Varsity Media. What sets our sportscast apart isn't just the quality of our production, it's the knowledge, passion, and professionalism that our announcers bring to every game.
It's Merrill. Oh, look at a fake by Merrill. There's the spin again. Gary Merrill is not human. Touchdown, St. Anthony. Profeta! 1-0, Garden City.
Our commentators research athletes and highlight storylines that matter to your communities. Our approach creates a broadcast experience that not only informs, but elevates the athletes, giving the kind of recognition usually reserved for professional levels. Varsity Media's announcers make sure that every athlete has their moment. So book a Varsity Media Sportscast today, and let's get your team the recognition it deserves.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships.
Now's your chance to score a touchdown with Varsity Media's ISO video. Video footage that focuses on your athlete only. Perfect for recruiting reels. Spots are limited, so reach out today. Email jeff@varsitymedia.net to book your next ISO video with Varsity Media. Parents, your support means everything to your athletes and to us at Varsity Media. To help us continue bringing you the best YouTube coverage of high school sports on Long Island, we invite business owners to consider a sponsorship on our broadcasts. If you own a business, consider a sponsorship for your athlete's team. It's a great way to show support, gain visibility, and keep the coverage going strong. Join us in making a difference. Contact Varsity Media today to learn more about broadcast sponsorship opportunities by emailing ben@varsitymedia.net.
For all the latest Varsity Media updates, including our game schedules, be sure to follow us on social media at Varsity Media, the home for New York high school sports. Hey parents, coaches, and players, ever wonder what makes Varsity Media stand out as the tri-state leader in sports live streaming and videography?
Well, I've been working with Varsity Media for, 14 years. When we have video needs, whether that be a game, whether that be a practice, whether it be social media, it's nice to know that somebody understands what we're looking for without asking for it.
We started working with Varsity Media back in 2021, and since then they've been an absolute game changer, putting our event on the map. Varsity Media couldn't be a better partner, and if you're looking to optimize your event, I couldn't recommend them anymore.
It's been great for us. You know, the kids really get excited when they know that Varsity Media is going to be here. Not just what's happening on the football field, but all the excitement that's around it. It really boosts the environment here, and everybody gets really excited for what's going on.
Varsity Media, it's reliable, professional, and the quality work is fantastic. It's like watching ESPN. The announcers are unreal, really do a great job of speaking to the coaches to get the knowledge of the players, the season, what's going on with the team. There is nothing better than Varsity Media doing a live broadcast.
If you'd like to book with Varsity Media, reach out at 516-403-2050 or email ben@varsitymedia.net. Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is 75,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming schedules and content, and on social media at Varsity Media.
What's up, this is Sean?
And we are back here in Hicksville, New York, with Holy Trinity trailing Fordham Prep 7-6. It was a very interesting first two quarters, Kevin, given the fact that you had each team score a touchdown, but the fumble in the red zone, if we're to hone in on a specific turning point, I think that's one that Fordham Prep is looking at and saying we could easily be up 14-6 at the break.
Yeah, it was definitely the major turning point of this game. But I think what it's also indicative of is this is a really odd battle between two quarterbacks. Here we see that middle screen that was slot screen that was run by Fordham on their touchdown. What a beautiful play by Lake Chiesi.
And then here's that fumble that we were just talking about.
What a textbook tackle by a quarterback. You know, Lance, I don't know what the stats are here for our quarterbacks, and I don't think they're real sexy. But what I do think is that these kids are doing everything possible to give their teams a chance, and they're bringing out the best in a number of different players on their teams. Very, very tough kids, both of these boys, and I expect to see more of that this half.
Well, we saw Ian Williams utilize his legs in addition to airing it out specifically to Joe Han, and Ballantyne tried to get the run game going. I think one of the developments that we've seen is Holy Trinity has kept Luke McKay pretty much in check through the first two quarters of this game.
They really, really have. You know, that defensive line and linebacker core are excellent run stoppers. But what has brought McKay back into the game? It's Ballantyne's ability to throw play action and RPO football and loosen those guys up a little bit. And next thing you know, you see McKay gets a big 12-yard chunk play, another 10-yard chunk play, and we haven't even get to see him use his hands yet.
And they haven't really fully tapped into Mendham Dukaj, their number one wide receiver. He was targeted maybe once or twice over the course of the first half, and play action could very well maybe open things up between him and Ballantyne.
Yeah, I think there's two different looks at this. Holy Trinity offensively is looking at throwing that deep ball. They're not giving up on the run game and some of the power stuff that they love to do. The Rams, on the other hand, have fallen into a rhythm of what's working for them. They're not getting away from it, and I don't expect to see them get away from it this half either. It's the stinginess of the Trinity defense that's making that path difficult.
So we are inching closer to the start of the second half here in Hicksville, New York. We'll step aside. Stay locked to the Varsity Media Sports Network as we move on here on Long Island.
Now's your chance to score a touchdown with Varsity Media's ISO video. Video footage that focuses on your athlete only. Perfect for recruiting reels. Spots are limited, so reach out today. Email jeff@varsitymedia.net to book your next ISO video with Varsity Media.
High school sports fans, Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships.
Help keep Varsity Media's broadcasts free on YouTube by considering an advertising sponsorship. Our coverage of local games helps local businesses get visibility in the community. To learn more about our sponsorship packages and rates, email ben@varsitymedia.net. Now is a great time to book a sportscast with Varsity Media. What sets our sportscast apart isn't just the quality of our production, it's the knowledge, passion, and professionalism that our announcers bring to every game.
It's Merrill. Oh, look at a fake by Merrill. There's the spin again. Gary Merrill is not human. Touchdown, St. Anthony. Profeta! Profeta! 1-0! Garden City!
Our commentators research athletes and highlight storylines that matter to your communities. Our approach creates a broadcast experience that not only informs, but elevates the athletes, giving the kind of recognition usually reserved for professional levels. Varsity Media's announcers make sure that every athlete has their moment. So book a Varsity Media Sportscast today, and let's get your team the recognition it deserves.
Start of the third quarter here in Hicksville, New York, with Holy Trinity and Fordham Prep colliding in what was a tight affair through the first two quarters. Holy Trinity got the opening kickoff, so Fordham Prep is going to get the ball to start the third quarter, and they missed out on an opportunity for a potential double dip late in the first half because it was Eric Hayes that picked off Ballantyne after they actually got a little more aggressive than we had anticipated down the stretch.
You know, it's going to be interesting to see which Holy Trinity we see come out. I don't expect a lot of changes on defense. They've been playing great defense. They do what they do. There's not a real reason for that. Offensively, where do they go from here? How do they get more consistent moving of the chains? And I also wouldn't be surprised if Coach DeSone had a little heart-to-heart with the boys inside there, because I also feel like Trinity may have fallen into a trap that I've fallen into with Fordham Prep, and that's underestimating them. And underestimating Fordham Prep is not a smart thing to do.
Well, a team that, as we mentioned, coming in being outscored by over 100 points this season, has dropped 3 straight games, all pretty much in lopsided fashion, but this is a different team that has shown up on the road this afternoon against a Holy Trinity squad that is 4-2. So the kickoff here by Danny Bergen, and there's going to be a short kick, trying to see maybe if they could get a takeaway or catch Fordham Prep off guard, and the Rams were anticipating that, and they are going to start inside the 40-yard line.
Nice field position right here for the Rams. I don't mind that decision to onside kick. Defensively, Trinity has been very, very sound throughout this game. But Fordham's found themselves today. This has been a big day for them on the offensive side of the ball, and they've got some heavy personnel in right now. I think we're going to see a lot of McKay.
Well, they had less than 10 points in each of their last few games, and you see them starting off with the run game with McKay, and that was a nice blast up the gut to set up a manageable second down.
Not only was that great push by the Rams right there, but Luke, again, he has a lot of abilities as a running back. He's a smaller guy, but he makes himself even smaller in their holes. I was surprised that he got that many yards on that play. Outstanding job.
And McKay has the athleticism. That's why they utilize him in so many different formations. Also plays baseball. He's a center fielder and a little bit at second base is McKay, surveying the field, navigating in and out, and moving that pile down to the 46-yard line.
Wow, look at this play. Look how he stretches it out here a little bit. You get a great block by Tommy Gibbons and Pierce Brogan. Beautiful job of finding that seam and getting vertical.
It was Skylar Richardson that tackled him from behind, but too late. He had already moved ahead for the first down. So a fresh set of downs for the Rams as they are looking to pad their lead, which is just 1 point in the early goings of the third quarter. And they're going to fake the handoff. It's going to be a quarterback keeper, and Ballantyne squeezing through to again have a positive pickup on first down.
What a gutsy play. And for those of you watching at home, that's your counter Trey. And right there, Colin, this is his choice. He's reading number 0 right there, seeing who he plays, and he pulled that on his own. What a gutsy play by Colin Ballantyne.
And Tyler Jarrett was fooled because he went with McKay thinking that he was going to bring him down in the backfield.
Yep, and just really, really well done. Boy, the Rams here have settled in on this heavy set.
As again, they hand it to McKay, and look at McKay shifting through the traffic, still moving his feet as he gets down to the 35-yard line, which is right around that first down marker. We'll see where they spot it.
Boy, poor McKay here. Not only does he get himself in there and take a lot of collisions, he's getting pushed by Pierce Brogan and Chris Pulverenti from behind. He's getting hit from every side.
The right side of the Rams offensive line giving a little push in the tush for McKay. And this is Fordham Prep's offense. They're more than comfortable grounding and pounding and utilizing their various different running backs and wing players, which is a huge part of the identity of their scheme. Valentine is just going to have to throw it away, and that actually may turn out to be a reception. He tried to just throw up a prayer, and Mendham Dukaj went to the sideline. There is a flag on the play. So we'll await word from Alex Toussaint. And this is going to go against Fordham Prep.
It's an ineligible player downfield.
That ineligible player downfield.
You know, I once asked a Division I coach, how do you prevent your linemen from going downfield on these RPOs? And he said you don't. You got to live with it. And, you know, for the 1 or 2 calls you get a game, you got to just go with the upside.
Well, because it's very hard, Kevin, for the offensive linemen to anticipate how long the quarterback's going to hold the football when they want to get out in front.
Exactly.
And start assisting. And that pocket collapses, and that ball is incomplete. He was trying to dump it off to McKay, but it was too low. And again, great penetration. We saw Richardson, and we saw Jarek.
A lot of green jerseys in your face. And, you know, that's meant to be that way. It's one thing to draw it up that way. It's another thing to be the quarterback with those hands in your face.
When you're running it in practice, it sounds good and it looks good, and then all of a sudden in real time, it changes your perspective when you can't see around all of those arms.
Come on, kid, this is easy, you know? Yeah, I'm not getting hit.
So a 2nd and long and an inside handoff, and Lake Chessie is eaten up again by the front of Holy Trinity, as you had Skylar Richardson and Joe Henn at the center of it.
Yeah, the Titans were ready for this one. This was a play that hurt the Titans badly in the first half. And Joe Henn does a great job of coming back against the flow and making that one-on-one tackle. Okay, big 3rd down here, Lance. You know, I expect we're going to throw the ball here and try to shorten up these chains for make it a 2-down situation.
Right now, 3rd and 15. And this time, Valentine has an opportunity, and he throws down the right sideline, and that is hauled in for a 1st down. A sensational grab by Dukaj.
If we get to see this again, check out Luke McKay right here. Look at the block that this guy makes. What a mismatch body-wise, but he throws his body. That's what makes this play. Beautiful job, beautiful catch.
As you see, Darnell Rink came in. There is a flag on the play, so we'll wait word there, as it was McKay that took on Jarek to give Valentine an opportunity to get off a pass. It looks like unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
Oh, boy, kids. You know, you got great things going for you. Instincts tell me that this is a 1st down. It's after the play.
Yeah, it was a dead ball foul, so it's going to go against the Rams. And that was after Dukaj did a great job making sure that He got his feet in on the sideline and secured the football. It was textbook. You bought your quarterback plenty of time, and then all of a sudden, after the fact, a little bit of chirping.
And this is a veteran officiating crew that's not looking to get involved in that way in this game. Got to be smarter than that.
So they're going to hand it off to McKay, and McKay is going to leap forward as he jumped across the 35-yard line.
You know, in an odd way, Lance, there's a small upside to that penalty for the Rams because they are controlling the football here. They are moving the ball. They haven't really been stopped, and they are taking away a lot of time from this.
Yeah, they have held the ball for a good portion of this third quarter. Remember, it was the Rams that got the kickoff to start after Holy Trinity got the ball at the beginning of the game. And they're now reversing the field as they go right to left. And that is going to be a nice pickup. As out of the backfield, George Jackson Jr., their other quarterback, being utilized, who they do use occasionally within their scheme.
Look at this. What a change in speed right here. Beautiful job and way to secure that ball.
And the difference between him and Ballantyne is Jackson is more of the running type of quarterback, and that's why they used to mix him in. But ever since Ballantyne took over, they pick their spots.
And kudos to Jackson for being able to come in off the sideline and do something great for his team.
So Ballantyne is back in. Delayed handoff to McKay, and McKay's pushed back by Richardson and company at the 30-yard line.
Just too many guys over there for them right now. Skylar Richardson is having a really big day. Recovered that fumble earlier that we've been talking about, but he's also been all over the field.
And Joe Henn was the one that wrapped up as well. The two of them have been on point as a 1-2 punch.
Although when we switch over and Trinity's on offense, Joe Henn is a guy I feel like they need to get more involved in the offensive side of the ball. He's had a couple of really big catches.
And he is their top receiver on the season. So Ballantyne feeling the pressure. He's going to dump it off to Chisi up the left sideline, and Lake is going to be in for his second touchdown of the afternoon. And the Rams pad their lead as after hit, they were able to get him out in open space.
And watch this, Lance. Kudos to Lake. He wanted to spin this ball in the worst way down there in the end zone. But you know what? You get flagged. You learn from it. You don't hurt your team. Great job. Great play. Just working against the aggressive nature of the Titans.
So Chisi showing his explosiveness yet again when you give him the space. As we look at the special teams unit with Marco Pena coming in to kick the extra point, and a flag comes in.
And we got flags down.
So offsides on Holy Trinity.
And offsides has been assessed.
I don't think we're going to see anything different here, Lance. You know, this if they make this extra point, it's an 8-point game. Not a lot of reason to go for 2.
Because you already have the cushion if you can convert the extra point. So they're going to keep, obviously, Marco Pena on. Pena, a soccer player, who's been a little bit banged up because he balances both sports, but he's been pushing forward. And he is going to tack on another extra point after Lake Chisi finds the pay dirt, as we see him hydrating after he has been running up and down this field here in Hicksville, New York. As we look at the pressure coming in, Ballantyne getting rid of it, and then Chisi off to the races as he found the end zone for the second time to make it a 14-6 advantage for Fordham Prep over Holy Trinity here on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Now's your chance to score a touchdown with Varsity Media's ISO video. Video footage that focuses on your athlete only. Perfect for recruiting reels. Spots are limited, so reach out today. Email jeff@varsitymedia.net to book your next ISO video with Varsity Media.
So Fordham Prep will kick off to Holy Trinity following the touchdown to make it 14-6. As here is Pena drilling one into the end zone for a touchback. So the 20-yard line is where Holy Trinity will start this drive. And we'll see Ian Williams, who felt a lot of pressure towards the last few minutes of the second quarter. And whether or not the Rams can duplicate that is going to be a big storyline to watch.
Well, you know what? What has dictated a lot of success, a lot of the troubles that Trinity has had, although they've had a lot of success, is this defensive line from Fordham. They have really come out to play today and making a huge number of tackles for loss.
So Williams is going to fake the handoff. He's going to keep it, and he has the field all to himself. It's a foot race. Williams has one man to beat, and it's a house call for Holy Trinity's quarterback. Ian Williams, in the blink of an eye, has changed this game because of his legs.
There's that battle of the quarterbacks we were talking about right before the half. But two different very stories. One guy methodical, the number of plays. Look at this. Look at that pull, and a great read. Great read. And this doesn't happen without all that personal strength that this young man has. Drives through a couple of arm tackles and brings it right to the house. Outstanding job, Ian Williams.
His 8th rushing touchdown of the season, and that was absolutely all him, as he'll now serve as the holder on the extra point. Or unless they're going to go for 2 here, actually, potentially, and that's exactly what they're going to look to do. So they're going to try to tie the game as opposed to pull within 1. So Williams in the offense is going to stay out here. And we'll see whether or not they can put this game into a knot, and that is going to be incomplete, intended for Darnell Rink. And it was broken up. Matt Schaller was right there on the backside.
Big play right there for the Rams. And you know what? Nothing down for Trinity right now. They got good things going their direction. There's a lot of energy right now for Holy Trinity. They just got to stay right with it.
As we take another look at the touchdown, and that inside handoff fake sold it, and then Williams was able to get out wide.
You talk about team discipline. You just saw 2 players from Holy Trinity lay off bad blocking positions so that they don't draw any flags and keep this play alive.
And that was a heck of a display of athleticism by a man that was averaging 10 yards a carry coming in, and something tells me that's going to take a boost after that run.
Well, I think the other thing, Lance, is that's the first time. That's maybe the second or third time we've seen that play from Holy Trinity. I think it's a play they got to keep running again and again and again.
Well, Williams took over as the starter in Week 4. He has not looked back. Began the season as a wide receiver. Devin Michaels was one of the quarterbacks they were utilizing, and Ian Williams did enough to sell the team on him getting the permanent job. And here's McKay, and McKay is going to try to return the favor. He's got the sideline. Luke is on the loose. He cuts back, and he's brought down at the 20-yard line to set up favorable field positioning for the Fordham Prep Rams. And boy, has this game changed yet again.
Look at this play by Luke McKay. And again, he's not giving you a lot of speed until he feels that open space, and then he drops it into fifth gear. What a turn and cut back here. Unfortunately, we've got a couple of injuries out here for Holy Trinity. You know, when you have changes of direction like that out in the open field, that's when a lot of guys, unfortunately, get clipped.
Well, number 3 is Danny Bergen III, who we talked about being a two-way player. He was the one that was trying to trip up McKay from behind. So while they attend to him, we'll take a breather. This is quite the affair developing in Hicksville with a 14-12 Fordham Prep lead on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
High school sports fans. Varsity Media is the exclusive live stream partner of Nassau County Championships. To live stream fall, winter, and spring championship events, head to varsitymediapass.com to order. Now accessible on smart TVs. Varsity Media is your home for the Nassau County Championships.
So Darnell Rink was also shaken up on the play, and he is being assisted off the field with his teammates helping him, but it was from behind. I had mentioned that Bergen was the one that tripped up McKay, and that he was down for a little bit, but was able to bounce back up. And if it wasn't for him, Fordham Prep would have had a special teams touchdown.
It's great to see these kids up and about. I'll tell you, Lance, you know, I've been in some really, really big games as a coach, and when one of your players gets hurt, you can't get it out of your mind. The game doesn't mean much anymore. All you're thinking about is those kids.
So Ballantyne and company have a short field. Can they capitalize? The play action over the middle, and with ease, Lake Cheesy makes it a trifecta as Holy Trinity fell for the cheese again. And just like that, it's Fordham Prep boosting its lead here in Hicksville.
Really, really smart play call here. And if you notice, folks, the substitute player that came in for Rink, they threw right at that player. And, you know, he's coming off the bench. It's hard to get your head wrapped around the situation. It's not easy to do. And a very smart play by the Fordham Rams.
So 20-12 is the lead. Pena kicking the extra point. And it is through. So Ian Williams rattled the plans for Fordham Prep by running right through the heart of the D, only for them to then fail on the two-point conversion. A huge special teams return by Luke McKay, and the third touchdown for Cheesy. Did I miss anything, Kevin, that happened in the last 3 seconds?
I think you saw it all. And you know what, Lance? I think we're going to see more of it coming forward. These kids are not done, and you're going to see some of the best players, and there's more than 2, come out with some huge plays.
Just absolute explosion in all 3 facets of this game. Offense, defense, special teams. And they did not need the windy conditions to push them forward over the course of this field. So we'll have the ensuing kickoff here by Fordham Prep. It'll be Marco Pena doing the honors, and Darnell Rink, who was hurt on the Luke McKay return, is one of their special teams return men for Holy Trinity. So now we're seeing some new personnel being utilized, as Jay Sean Grafton, of course, is one of the players back there, but Marcus Abelard, who's a corner, is also in position, and the wind is not cooperating for Pena. As Mother Nature also is throwing in her 2 cents in this one. And he is going to drill this one again in the back of the end zone. You could tell he is a soccer player.
That was a very, very timely kick right there. You know, Trinity wanted to get that extra play out. They had their kids lined right up on the goal line. I was giggling just before because just like it's like a lot of our kickers, we saw a big chest bump out there that wiped out the kicker from Fordham Prep. I think they got to get rid of that celebration.
Especially since I mentioned Pena's been banged up because of his soccer prowess. I mean, how much more do you want to hit this poor guy?
He just got
in terms
pancaked.
of what he's been going through. it seems like a good idea in the moment, and then after you take the hit, you come to the realization maybe we shouldn't have celebrated as much.
Oh, it's the story of our lives, Lance.
Williams over the middle, intended for Hen, and it's incomplete.
Incomplete. It'll be second down and 10.
Once again, Fordham getting a lot of penetration inside that backfield. Beautiful ball by Ian Williams. He throws a really, for a kid who has not played a lot of quarterback, he throws a really beautiful spiral.
Yeah, he's got nice velocity on the throw as well. And he's one of the great stories coming out of this program. As you mentioned, did not take over the starting quarterback duties until 4 games in. And now you look at what he's doing. It has been quite the immediate development. And he's going to go back to Hen. And Hen is going to cross the 30. He's going to stay on his legs. And that is going to muscle his way down across the 35-yard line and good for a first down.
There's a lot of value in young Mr. Hen here. He has got great range. He gets himself open all the time. I think Trinity has to continue to look at him a little bit more.
Well, they are not hesitating getting him involved because Williams threw the incomplete pass and then came back to him on the sideline. So your point is well taken. They're trying to improve his targets as they go to the ground. And that is a hard hit taken by Demarion Singh after he ran up the middle.
Nick Monaco. Look at big Nick Monaco come down and fill this seam. Pow! Oh, great body tackle by Nicholas.
Monaco, the leading tackler coming into this game for the Rams. And it's not just his ability to come down and fill those holes, but also has great speed sideline to sideline. One of their inside linebackers, Williams, with good protection. He's going to take a shot. And it is well over the head of Abelard.
That pass intended for number 6, Marcus Abelard, incomplete.
So Abelard is a transfer from Sheepshead Bay High School in Brooklyn, New York, coming out to Long Island after he began his career in New York City.
Not an easy thing to do. One of my last many teams at Chaminade High School, we had kids from Fort Hamilton, Brooklyn, all the way out to Cutchogue and everything in between on a roster, and they didn't miss a practice, they didn't miss a class. The energy that goes into that is inspirational.
Well, us Brooklynites, we prepare accordingly. Kevin, I could speak from experience. I will represent them well, as a brick wall is what Singh had to run right up against.
Oh, Pierce Brogan had him for lunch right here. Look at this. Oh. Put a little hot sauce on that running back.
I think dinner and dessert was thrown in as well.
Pierce is a big boy. Big boy is going to, as you said earlier, is looking to go on and play college football, possibly in the NESCACs, which also tells us that he does an outstanding job in the classroom.
So 4th down here for Holy Trinity. And once again, the quarterback is also the punter, and it looks like Ian Williams is settling in to his punter role as McKay is back to receive it, and he had a big return the last time he got his hands on the football, and this is just going to bounce and die at the 36-yard line. So that is where the Rams are going to take over here with just under 2.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, and they are right now nursing a 9-point lead as we take a look at the upcoming schedule here on the Varsity Media Sports Network. And you look ahead to October 25th, 2 p.m. Eastern. Cold Spring Harbor is going to be hosting Lynbrook, and then Elmont and Southside on November 1st, an early morning kickoff at 11 a.m. Eastern. So there's nothing better than breakfast and Long Island football. If that doesn't lure you in, then I don't know what should. We're going to have a timeout taken.
Really smart call by Fordham. You know, they had a little bit of confusion personnel-wise. They wanted to make sure they're doing everything right. This half, they've done an excellent job of burning clock, and I'm sure Coach Dean wants to continue that.
So stay locked to the Varsity Media Sports Network for the upcoming CHSFL Championships. You can see all the action, youtube.com/Varsity Media, as we have you covered every which way here on Long Island, as Fordham Prep is going to have a big opportunity here, Kevin. If they get another touchdown, you're really putting Holy Trinity in a precarious spot. And we talked about the difference between both of these teams is the Titans have played from ahead. They've dictated a lot this season. They have not been in this trailing position, and you learn a lot about a team under these circumstances.
And that's the thing. You know, you said before, Lance, if they can score now, Trinity then has to do some things that I'm not sure they're capable of.
So here is Ballantyne, a high floater and a jump ball that was nearly intercepted and fortunately fell incomplete. It was intended for Ducage.
Good protection. Boy, this was a play I was not expecting. Probably why it was a heck of a call, but great coverage by Trinity. Double coverage, as a matter of fact.
And that was Abelard that nearly got a finger on it as it fell between three different players. 2 for Holy Trinity and 1 for Fordham Prep. So it'll be 2nd and 10 here at the 36.
Well, what's gotten Fordham Prep to this spot is Colin McKay, and I think we're going to see a good dose of him now.
Some call him Luke McKay.
Luke McKay, yes.
It's a combination of the running back and the quarterback, and the both of them brought down just as Kevin called it. Not sure that was what was scripted, but a nice play by Holy Trinity's defense yet again in terms of their penetration.
Great job of penetration here by Holy Trinity. And
you had Jarek involved. You had Dion Swinney, their inside linebacker, who has a team-high 28 tackles coming in. It's amazing how this game has shifted. Just when it seems like one team's going to seize it, the defense or the offense responds, depending on what side of the field you're looking at. So here comes 3rd and long. Ballantyne's got to create something, and a pass over the middle, deflected, and will fall incomplete.
There's a nip and tuck aspect to this game, Lance, and what's happening is both coaches are saying to themselves, we don't have plays to waste. We've got to get to our best stuff. They get that big mid up there. Great job. Great job. Just enough to interfere in that pass.
So the junior linebacker, Dion Swinney, he gets the hit in the backfield on McKay, and then he comes back and breaks up a pass in the middle. He's been all over the place as Fordham Prep is going to punt here. And that ball is going to take a bounce to Ian Williams. And Williams is locked up the sideline, and he is hit as he is bounced out of play, and a flag comes in.
My apologies, Lance, for making noises over the top of you, but I did not see that coming. What a play on the bounce. That is unbelievably difficult to do.
If you mishandle that, that's the danger zone.
And that ball was live. It had touched a Trinity player just prior. I'd love to see this call on the sideline. It didn't seem like a big hit here.
And I believe it was Miller Desifee, number 13, who hit Ian Williams, the senior defensive lineman, as will.
It's going both ways.
So offsetting penalties.
A block in the back has been called against both teams, offsetting.
So a block in the back.
Look at this play. Watch this. Watch him stick that hand out there. Great job by Ian Williams. He has a million tricks ahead of him.
It also looked like it was Yuri Padilla that hit Williams as well, and Williams now is going to be eaten up alive by that Fordham prep pass rush, as we saw Kevin Cameron and company circle him and make sure that he wasn't going to have an escape lane.
I think one of the things that we're seeing from Ian, and again, this is not about Ian, it's about experience, is that he's getting locked on a single receiver, and if that kid is shut down, he's not sure, it's not coming naturally yet to him where he wants to go. 2 weeks from now, when he's got that figured out, this young man is going to be the full package.
So the final 20 seconds ticking away here in the third quarter. And Williams on second and long. It's going to be incomplete, but it was very wise of Bergen to try to cover it up just to play safe.
Yes. Very smart play, covered that ball. You know, and it's interesting to me. I haven't seen Trinity play this year. I've been reading about it in the newspaper and some of the stuff on social media. But they were concerned about impulsive actions, silly penalties, bad decisions. You haven't seen that from Holy Trinity today. They've really played the kids a very clean, smart football game.
And even more critical when you're trailing by 9 points to not give up field positioning. 7.7 seconds left here in the third. And they're going to hand the ball off to Bergen. He's going to cut back, and he'll be able to dive ahead just short of the 45-yard line, and a flag is going to come in after the play as the third quarter comes to an end.
Well, you know what? There must be a lot going on down there in that field because, as I said, this is a highly experienced officiating crew. So there must be quite a degree of chippiness going on down there. And you know what? The officials, they don't want to see this break out into something bad.
Because the play itself looked clean. And we're going to have another personal foul here. And it's going to go against the Rams.
It's a dead ball penalty.
That actually surprises me coming from Fordham Prep. You know, kids, it's a real smart group of kids, but you know what? Some of them, they got to learn how to win. And right now they're winning, and they need to act like winners.
So 15 yards coming the way of Holy Trinity to start the fourth quarter. But the highlights in the third belong to Fordham Prep. Lake Cheesy, not once, not twice, 3 times finding the pay dirt as his team's up by 9 here in Hicksville on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Hi, I'm Katie Ledecky. As an Olympic athlete, you might think staying healthy is easy for me. Truth is, we all face challenges. Keeping the right mindset is how we achieve our best personal performance. At Catholic Health, the same focus on wellness and prevention that I follow every day is the way they think too. That's why I'm teaming up with Catholic Health to help make healthcare even more positive, proactive, and personal for every person across Long Island. Long live you, and long live Long Island.
Start of the fourth quarter here in Hicksville, New York. And Holy Trinity is now in Fordham Prep territory after the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty at the tail end of the third quarter. And now the Titans looking to take advantage. Williams, he's going to look to outrun the defense at a short gain as he crosses the 40-yard line.
And getting out of bounds by Ian right there it's very, very smart. It is not too early to be concerned about the time. They've got to make up 9 points here. And you know, and with the way Fordham has been able to burn clock, they do need to think this way.
Yeah, you're talking about a 2-possession deficit. So every second is extremely valuable, given we're here now in the final quarter. And you can't rely on Ian Williams getting an explosive run on every single play. So he'll now navigate the traffic by handing it off to Bergen, and Bergen is just going to disappear in a massive pile on the far side of the field to make it a manageable third down.
Look at this play here. Nice job on the read. You know, they're keeping Fordham players out of this tackling because of that keep that Ian had earlier in the game.
As we saw Steve Escano try to grab Bergen from behind to slow him down. They need 6 yards to move the chains. And Joe Henn is in the slot on the left side. They've looked his way plenty of times here in the second half. Williams working the right sideline, and he's pushed out of play by Rafael Nero. It's near the marker.
And I think when Ian sees this tomorrow, he watches this film, he's going to see, you know, I can hang in that pocket just a little bit longer and let my guys get open. He's got a really athletic group of receivers.
So he was 1 yard shy as he went out of play, and Holy Trinity clearly keeping its offense out on the field. There's no decision to be made here other than to put the ball in the hands of Williams. As they need to get inside the 30-yard line. And Williams is going to have to escape traffic, and he's going to be brought down and sacked. Nick Monaco, their inside linebacker, making his presence felt for the 1,000th time in this game.
And Williams had no chance. He had no chance on that play at all. They just ran out of blockers. You had Rams all over the backfield.
And there was a reason why we highlighted Monaco off the top of the broadcast, because Pat Dean had talked about if they are going to walk away with a win in this game, it's going to be the result of him and Nick Hallahan. Nick squared in terms of the middle of their defense. And we are going to have a turnover on downs, and we'll step aside with an injured player down here in Hicksville on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
You know, Lance, I was talking earlier to one of the coaches at Fordham, and again, this is not a league of supposed tos. Who's supposed to beat who? Who's supposed to beat who on particular days? Every week is a different story in the Catholic League, and you got a tremendous amount of talent on all of these teams. You know, the difference between these teams is how many guys do you actually have? The bigger schools like the Anthonys and Chaminads and things like that definitely have an advantage. But this is some game we're seeing.
So Fordham Prep is going to look to milk some clock, and Luke McKay is going to try to cut back. And Green all up in his grill, highlighted by Demarion Singh, their outside linebacker.
So formation, we haven't seen much from Fordham. They put a fullback in the game that's directly behind a quarterback. This brings a lot of green jerseys to the ball.
So they wound up losing 3 yards on that play. But with running the ball, the clock is ticking away, which is exactly what the Rams want to accomplish on this drive as they look to move the ball up the field. So Ballantyne here under center. And near collision, and a late handoff is going to push McKay the wrong way.
Well, Tyler Jarrett, what a job of coming off that down block and really penetrate. Look, you want to stop the counter Trey, you got to penetrate. You don't do a better job than Tyler Jarrett did right there. Wonderful job. This was the defensive series that Holy Trinity needed. Now they got to cap it off.
Yeah, they got back-to-back negative plays to start this drive. And Jarrett, labeled by the coaching staff for Holy Trinity as by far their most disruptive player, and he is giving you the latest example why. The transfer from St. John the Baptist. 3rd and forever. As they move Sanchez in motion, and they're going to set up a screen, and McKay is tackled from behind before he cut loose. Danny Bergen able to trip him up.
What a huge and timely tackle by Danny Bergen. And you know what? Danny Bergen showed his speed on this. If you're going to catch McKay, you've got to be some athlete. And he hunts him down something fierce. Beautiful job.
That's running back on running back crime.
Yes, absolutely.
So you can understand why, of all the players, he should be able to track him down. He's familiar with the position as Ian Williams is back to receive this punt, which nearly was blocked. So it becomes pretty much a fly ball that's going to bounce back the way of Holy Trinity into Fordham Prep territory. And that is just what the doctor ordered, an extremely short field for the Titans.
These two teams, I think, are trying to kill their head coaches. Oh, my goodness gracious. That was some play right there.
Very fortunate that they were able to get that off. Kevin Taylor, the punter, and he was so close to seeing that ball go the opposite way.
Well, we got Han out here there's a new position for him. He's on the outside edge of a trips formation. And once again, Fordham's given Joe Han quite a bit of room.
Williams taking a shot into no man's land, and fortunately, no one for the Rams was in the vicinity to catch that because there was clearly a miscommunication on the right side.
Yeah, you know what do coaches do with young quarterbacks? You try to simplify everything. You try to reduce the number of decisions he's got to make, and that's great. But for Ian, he's going back and relying on his legs and relying on that deep ball just a little bit too much.
As Yuri Padilla, Fordham Prep corner, was one of the players that was perhaps in position to capitalize if he was a little bit more up the field. So they'll now hand it off, and a nice surge right up the middle, just shy of the first down marker. That is Demarion Singh, their leading rusher.
This was a really important and really well-needed play right there by Holy Trinity. Great block by Jacob DePerson and Stefan Jean.
And it was Dylan Saladino that brought him down from behind. Here's Singh again, trying to work on a new tune, and this should be good enough to move the pile forward for a first down.
And I love it by Holy Trinity. Come right back to it. Not a lot has been going consistently well for them today, although they've had big plays. Go right back to what's working and make the Rams stop it.
So the clock continuing to tick below the 7.5-minute mark. And the Titans in their own backyard trailing by 9. It has been Demarion Singh setting the tone. Williams now looking to take off, and he's sandwiched down. And no surprise, it's David Agyamani yet again.
Boy, Agyamani is having some day today. That might be his third or fourth sack today, and in very timely fashion.
As Kevin Cameron was there as well, but I don't even think he needed to assist David.
Yeah, and again, I've been very, very impressed with Ian and the entire offense from Trinity. What they've had difficulty with is restarting after some tough plays. Everybody does. I mean, it's just not Holy Trinity. And that was a defensive play that the Rams needed.
David using all of that 6'4", 240 frame. Williams is going to now go right. He's got to step on the defense, up the sideline, and over the river and through the woods. Out of play he goes.
And again, great play. Gets his team out of trouble, and he stops the clock. So important right now.
And that's why they want him as the quarterback, because that's a play that it could look negative, Kevin, and then all of a sudden it becomes a huge game.
Yes, and you know what? It prevents, it really does slow the Rams from stunting as much as they really want to. That's what's helped them throughout this game. But that man-to-man coverage is not conducive with stopping Ian Williams.
So they're at the 25. Bergen is nearly brought down by Cameron. He's going to get a few extra yards before he gets shoved out of play. Now, he's claiming he stayed in bounds, but clearly the play was ruled out.
Because tough play, you know what? It had some logistical problems in there, but Trinity did the best. You know, all their players are doing this today. They're taking what they got, and they're making the best of it.
And just a great effort, Kevin, by Bergen. Cameron had him, and he was pulling and pulling and pulling, and he got out of that.
Absolutely. And you know what? There's 3 or 4 dozen slot receivers out there and running backs that would just give up on that play and let's play the next one, and he just keeps going after it.
So Ian Williams and this Holy Trinity offense trying to get back in the end zone. It was Williams with the big run the last time they scored. Play action. They get it to Hen. He makes one man miss, and he's down at the 15-yard line.
You know, and why you love that play is they've been going into that trips stack formation for the entire half. And what they've been trying to do is just draw more Rams away from the run game. Now they finally got to the throw component. And beautiful play, beautiful catch and conversion. Big Joe's a tough kid to bring down.
Stands 5'10", 175, the sophomore wide receiver who leads the team in all 3 major receiving categories. And Williams is just going to throw it away. Now a flag does come in as nothing was opening up on the left side.
It's an interesting flag. I'm not sure what we're looking at. You know, it's the umpire, so it's probably a hold. Came in very late.
Seems to be in the vicinity of that. And he was clearly out of the pocket.
Yeah.
So the intentional grounding wouldn't come into play, and this is going to be a holding call.
It's a hold. But a hold's just a killer. It's 10 yards and just a very tough penalty to absorb.
And time is now something that comes into play. You move back and think about how much extra plays you may have to run now, Kevin, to make up the lost yardage. So that is certainly a factor to monitor here.
Yeah, and if you're Fordham, the only thing you're thinking about right now on defense is 2 things. 1, let's try to clamp down on Joe Hen as much as you can. And 2, we need to keep Ian Williams in the bag. They cannot afford to allow him to get out of the backfield.
So they'll hand it off to Singh, and Singh is going to make his way inside the 20-yard line thanks to a shove and a push by a few of his teammates up front on the offensive line, as Noah St. Hill was one of them.
It's getting a little late for this, but I'm actually surprised we haven't seen more of Singh today on running as a running back as carries. He really has had a great week last week, and that was a great carry.
It's almost as if they were preserving him for this stage of the game based on the usage of Jarek and Bergen and clearly the running ability of their quarterback Williams. So back to Singh, and he has a hole up the middle and further gets closer to that elusive end zone.
And who knows, Lance, you have a tight roster. You got a lot of kids playing both ways. Who knows what kind of injuries or soreness they're playing with.
Williams going to take a shot towards the end zone, and it's broken up and incomplete.
Beautiful read by Ian right there. That is, for him, that's the next level of being a great high school quarterback. Great read, great window to try to sneak it in there. Beautiful breakup by the Rams.
Excuse me, Kevin. It was intended for Rankin. Tyler Williams, the safety, got his hand in the passing lane. And that's good to see, at least from a health perspective, that Rank is back in the mix. Remember, he was shaken up earlier in the game as he is out wide on the right side. This is a 4th down here for Holy Trinity as they are looking to keep this drive alive or punch it in. And Williams is going to tap into that legwork. He's going to have to get rid of it, and it's dropped and incomplete right over the middle. Wide open was Jay-Sean Grafton, and the freshman could not haul it in. He was calling for a flag.
I don't know about any flags, but what an effort by these kids to try to get this done. Great look, and great job by Jay-Sean keeping himself open and giving his team a chance to get some more points on the board.
As Fordham Prep fortunate because Tyler Williams looked like he was late getting over when he was on point on the previous play, and now off the turnover on downs with 3:46, the Rams are going to come back out, and something tells me we're going to see Luke McKay.
Yeah, this is a very important series, and whatever Holy Trinity has left, they've got to put into this series and then start considering using those timeouts.
And Ballantyne, no surprise, will give it to McKay, and McKay just wants to move in front, get some activity going to get that clock running.
It's a gain of 2 on the run, and it's going to be a timeout.
So the Titans are going to take one of their remaining timeouts. As the strategy is clear for the Rams, use the ground attack and force Holy Trinity to have these timeouts expire.
I'll tell you what, to be clear, especially with the way this game is going, Holy Trinity's in this game right now. They have the ability to turn things around on a dime, but it's about this first down right now. If the Rams can move these chains, that goes pretty far to putting the nails in this one.
So each team has 2 timeouts left, as it was Holy Trinity that utilized its first time out here. And now we'll have a 2nd down coming up after the McKay run on 1st down. And McKay is back in the backfield here. They also have Nick Monaco in that fullback position. And they hand off inside to McKay, and McKay is going to continue to reach forward there with an extra effort out to the 20-yard line.
That is not the best formation for Fordham, but with what they have to get done right now, I think it's the only formation. Control the ball, protect the ball, and get those dirty yards.
And Holy Trinity calls another timeout.
So Holy Trinity utilizes its 2nd timeout, and while they talk things over, we'll squeeze in a breather as well. Down the stretch we go with 3:29 to go. Fordham Prep in front of Holy Trinity on the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Are you a local business looking for new and creative ways to promote your company? Varsity Media offers affordable rates that can get your message across to a demographic of 18 to 54 years of age. Our follower base across social media is 75,000 strong, and our viewership numbers per game are in the thousands. Don't blow your advertising budget on old staples like TV and radio media. Reach out to Varsity Media to get the best bang for your buck.
So back we go here in Hicksville. And Holy Trinity right now just trying to slow down this rushing attack. And that's some heavy penetration after they gave it to Monaco, and he was met with authority. Jarek and plenty of his teammates were able to swarm him up.
I tell you, Lance, I love the enthusiasm from these Holy Trinity fans. These folks really, in Hicksville, really love their football. And, you know, you got the Titans are wearing green. I'm starting to feel like I'm at an Eagles game here. Very wild.
Well, and they did run almost a tush-push-esque type of play, if you remember, on the goal line when they pitched it out to Hen. So I can understand you tying all those things together, as we're going to have 4th down coming up. That was the 3rd and final timeout that Holy Trinity just utilized.
That was a great call, by the way, that play down on the goal line, and a gutsy call. I mean, it's not easy to do. Looks easy, but it's not easy to do.
Because if you snap it too early, you get ahead of yourself, and Williams was able to orchestrate that perfectly, and Hen lined up and was able to walk in untouched.
All right, we've had some very close snap punt situations with Fordham. Let's see how this goes.
Kevin Taylor, the punter. He nearly had one blocked, and that one almost again. And this is going to take a friendly bounce in favor of Holy Trinity, as they're going to take over inside the 40-yard line with 3:16 to go and no timeouts.
I don't know who that was on that punt. I think it was Skylar Richardson, but what an effort of laying out and trying to get a finger on that punt. Great job. He's had a heck of a day.
We've seen him on special teams. We've seen him on defense, number 50. One of their rotating defensive linemen. They utilize 6 guys, and he has been one of the star performers this afternoon. So Holy Trinity down by 9, trying to put on the rally caps and maintain their current winning streak that right now sits at 3. Meanwhile, Fordham Prep trying to snap a 3-game skid. And Williams is going to buy time and fire up the sideline, and they're going to say it's incomplete. Now, Rank is arguing he made the catch, but it looked like his body hit the sideline, and we'll get a better angle here as Williams looked to try to fire it over the defense of Fordham Prep.
Yeah, sloppy. Just sloppy on the catch area. But you know what? The Trinity kids, from the lineman obviously back to Ian, there's nobody giving up on this game right now.
Including their quarterback, who is a threat to take off at any given moment. And we saw that on full display earlier with his lengthy touchdown. He operates in the pocket, over the middle, and that is going to be a strike for a touchdown. Jay-Sean Grafton, who dropped the previous pass in the end zone, makes up for it and then some. And this ball game is still alive and well and within striking distance for the Titans.
It certainly is. It certainly is. Look at this. Boy, talk about a moment when you needed some maturity as a quarterback to sit in that pocket and just take the hit and throw it. And what an outstanding job. And you can't not mention Deshaun Grafton, who, you know what, I think felt so bad about dropping that ball just inside the goal line, gets a chance to redeem himself.
Football and redemption tend to be synonymous with one another, and it has arrived in Hicksville. So the offense coming through with a huge score, and they're going to look to kick the extra point here with the man that scored the touchdown, Grafton, in a new role as the place kicker today. And it's going to be blocked as he was not able to get it up. And guess who? David Aguiamani.
Oh. This is an interesting question right here. The ball was blocked, and the officials blew the whistle right away. Why?
as opposed to allowing them to maybe continue on, because it went right back to Grafton.
Yes. It's an interesting question.
Took a fortuitous bounce back to the kicker, and he had an angle where he was ready to maybe scamper into the end zone.
And you know, sometimes, Lance, and I've talked to a lot of officials over the years, they like to get a quick whistle on those extra points because that's where kids get hurt. And they do want to kill that play.
So it's going to stay then a 3-point affair, 21-18 as a result of the blocked extra point. Now remember, Holy Trinity is out of timeouts with 2:56 to go here. And we see the Titans talking over strategy as to how they're going to handle this kickoff.
You know what? There's a lot of logic, possibly, in kicking this ball a little deeper. I'm not saying kick it to Mars, but maybe drop it over this second level. Let it roll around a little bit.
Maybe Pluto? Is that okay?
Maybe Pluto,
instead of
sure.
Mars? Okay. Neptune, another possibility. I'm an equal opportunist, so I'll name it. You decide whether or not it's within your wheelhouse. As here is going to be Bergen kicking off. And you can see Fordham Prep is anticipating an onside kick, and it is bottled up by the Rams before Holy Trinity was able to fight its way towards the football.
Well, I could not help myself, Lance, but to chat GPT this rule, and it is a live football until it's a dead football, until
the whistle is blown.
The whistle is blown and somebody comes up with possession of the ball.
So meaning the official has the ability and interpretation to let it play on and not blow the whistle based on that block.
Correct.
The coulda, woulda, shoulda conversation
yes.
that ensues here in Hicksville.
Well, Fordham cannot run out this clock unless they move the chains. So big situation right here.
A huge test here for the Holy Trinity front, which has gotten great penetration down the stretch. You know they're probably going to go to Monaco or McKay. They go to McKay, and from behind, Demarion Singh was able to wrap up McKay.
All right, 2:45 in running. The 40-second clock doesn't drop until 2:12. Fordham, I'm sure, is going to want to use every single second of this.
And ball security, it goes without saying, but it's worth emphasizing, is critical here because you know Holy Trinity, they're going to go for the ball in addition to the stop under these circumstances.
Absolutely.
So a second down here to McKay, and again, they beat him to the spot. Jarek was able to maneuver through the offensive line of the Rams.
All right. They're going to drive this clock down to 1:20 before the next snap. They can stop this first down. Holy Trinity is going to have at least an opportunity to run 3 plays.
So don't go anywhere, as the home team could very well have a chance to get into field goal range and potentially tie this game as we see the seconds ticking away. And now a timeout taken by the Rams before they run this down.
We're hearing a lot of calls for delay game up here, and I get it. I get it. You know, you start to get into these play clocks. It's very frustrating. But you know what? The referees can't start the play clock until they know the play is over. Everybody is healthy, and and that takes 5 or 6 seconds to do that.
It's a process, but good luck trying to explain that to those that perhaps have a rooting interest in the game.
I will not do that unless I've got some pepper spray in my pocket right here. I won't get out of Hicksville alive.
As the energy rising by the second in a tight affair between Fordham Prep on a 3-game skid and Holy Trinity on a 3-game rise. And the Titans are looking to get another shot and bring their offense back out on the field. They're going to need their defense, though, first to come through. With the ball on the 49-yard line.
Kudos to the Holy Trinity athletic staff. They really put on a nice day here. What a wonderful day. Fans are great.
McKay and Monaco are not going to get the ball. It's a quarterback keeper and a rollout by Ballantyne as they tried to pull a fast one on Holy Trinity, and the quarterback utilizing his legs to move the chains and put an exclamation point on this game.
What a gutsy play. What a gutsy play, and what a great run by Ballantyne. And that's going to put this one to bed.
All the attention in the backfield on McKay and Monaco. Meanwhile, Ballantyne from under center takes a page out of Ian Williams' playbook to seal this game. And victory formation now on display as Ballantyne is going to take a knee. And what a performance by the Rams of Fordham Prep, who come on the road to Hicksville and end a 3-game losing streak to get their second win of the season and stop what has been quite the surge by the Titans.
Boy, you know what? Kudos to Fordham by putting the word "supposed to" bed today by playing a great game. And you know what? Kudos to Holy Trinity and what Coach DeSone and his staff is doing here. They're on the right track. I hope they don't get down about this game and they just keep plugging away.
Well, it was a game that left an opportunity for them late in the trenches, but it was Fordham Prep that was able to get the better of them as Mr. Cheesy put on quite the display for the Rams as he was running and gunning all afternoon. That was his first touchdown off the screen, then a little trickery out of the backfield. Joe Henn getting in on a pitch out, and Cheesy just finding openings across the Holy Trinity defense. He left his name and his number all over this field, as did Ian Williams. A huge flip of the field with a big touchdown run to give Holy Trinity an opportunity late. But every time the Titans responded, it was the Rams that came back for more. Luke Cheesy with the trifecta. Grafton getting in to redeem his earlier drop, as that is going to wrap things up for us here in Hicksville. The executive producer, Ben Turchin, technical director, Becca Kazaks. For Kevin Dolan, I'm Lance Meadow, our entire crew saying so long from Hicksville, where the final score, Fordham Prep 21, Holy Trinity 18. The Rams get their second win